keep it G for at least 3 of us out here that can legitly say life is motherfucking life. And excuse my language, it just is what it is. And lately, I've just really been feeling like God has been trying me. And I do not mean that in a disrespectful manner. I'm just saying, like, trying as in testing me. Like, for example, like some of us know we got those certain family members that we do not go around because they know how to bring the gangster out of us. So instead of putting ourselves in uncompromising positions, knowing that we may be taken out of character, we just choose not to deal with you. Simple as that. It is what it is, and what it's not, it ain't gonna ever be, and we not tripping. Life will go on. But when you've been tried by God and you being tried by individuals in the flesh, like, that's two different tries. That's two different testing. Because when you're being tried by individuals in a test, like, at the end of the day, you want to fight something. But when you're being tried by God, oh God, my goodness, when you're being tried by God, at the end of the day, you're trying to fall flat on your face in His presence. Like, where are you? Please don't hide yourself from me. When you're being tried by God, at the end of the day, you out here trying to seek repentance. You hear me? When you're being tried by God, you're being tried financially, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and physically, to say the least. And if you know, when I say I feel like God is trying me, I don't really mean that in a disrespectful manner, because you know how y'all get out. She think God trying her. Oh, like, nah, I don't mean like that. I just mean as in I feel like God really been testing me. And I say that because I've been going through it. I've been going through it, and not just me, the world is going through it. That's why I don't even get on social media no more, because every time you log on, you see somebody crying out to the next man. Ain't nobody crying out to God. But for real, that's who we need to be reaching out to. Collectively, we need to be falling flat on our faces, crying out to the Most High, because at this point, He is the only one that can save us. But yes, you have not been tried until you have been tried by God. And in this season of my life, I feel like that's where I'm at. I am in a season of where God has been testing me. God has been testing me in areas financially. God has been testing me in areas emotionally. God has been testing me physically, spiritually for sure. He has been testing me in my relationships. He has been testing me in the way I handle certain situations. He has been testing me with the capacity, with my patience, with the burdens that He has placed in my possession to carry. I've been tested, tried. And you ain't been tried until you've been tried by God. So, lately, I've been going through it. So, I just recently had to make a choice between leaving my financial source of security to take care of my younger child while I try to find consistent babysitting for him, or just say, I'm gonna carry the burden myself. My fault. The phone was overheated, so I had to pull over. Because I wasn't finna fight with God's creation. That's a battle I'll never win. But anyway, so yeah, when I say I feel like God was trying me, I don't want y'all to be like, oh, she disrespecting the Most High. Ooh, nah. Hold that. And please keep the peace, because I will get at you. But when I said that I feel like God was trying me, all I meant was I feel like God has been testing me, right? So I'm at a point in my life where all the responsibility is on me, right? And I'm okay with that because this ain't nothing new. I'm built to last. But I would be lying and I would be fronting and I would not be authentically me if I said that I'm okay with having to carry the burden of raising 5 children. Granted, it was my choice to have these 5 children, but that's another video for another time, and we won't get into that right now. But back to being tried. You have not been tried until you have been tried by God. Now, I recently had an experience to where it was, to me, the hardest thing that I've yet had to do as far as trusting God. Now, for some of y'all, when I get into this, y'all gonna be like, what, girl, you crazy. That's nothing. That's simple. Knock on the door. And it will be open unto you. Seek and you will find. But for me, because of my past experiences and my trauma and things that I have gone through in my pubescent years, it's just some things I'm just like, look, I was firm on disobedience. God, I heard what you said, but I'm not doing it. I'm going to do this over here. I'm not going to do that, because if I do that, that's going to rip open a wound that I thought was closed. But you want me to trust you. I trust you. I'm just not doing that. I'll do anything else but what you're asking me to do. But if you know what you know about God and you have a relationship with God and you are not in religion with God, you have had encounters with God, you know that God don't work like that. You got free will. But if he tell you to do something and if he's sending you somewhere and he got you on assignment, you know how God deals with you, because every last one of our walks with the Most High is different, and he deals with us individually, right? And you already know how he coming. You just can't do what you want to do the way you want to do it. You got free will. Yes, you can choose to do this, but eventually, Jonah, he gonna put you back on track and get that about you. So you either gonna get down or you gonna lay down. But either way, you're gonna have to submit and give up some of that obedience. And that's what led me into my situation. It started out as obedience, because for 2 years, low-key, I felt like the Holy Spirit has been stirring up a spirit of discontentment in me, not because I feel like I'm not doing enough, or not because I don't love what I do. Like, I was a nursing attendant, but I felt like I was stagnant, you know. I felt like I was supposed to be doing more, and I know that I'm supposed to be doing more, but it's hard to find a balance somewhere out. So you're gonna do God's will, or you gonna stay in the comfort zone. And at first it was like this, but then when the bills started coming in, it was like, oh no, Lord, I hear you, but what you want me to do? So I stayed. Instead of moving, I stayed still. But I didn't stay still because I was obedient to God, because God been told me to skip booze. But because I was so focused on how I'm going to take care of my children, how am I going to pay these bills, like, all of that was in the back of my mind, as it should be, because we are adults, we have responsibility, and ain't no way around that. But it's like, okay, I can't serve me and serve a higher at the same time. So God was like, all right, you want to be obedient or you want to be disobedient? So at first I chose obedience, and we was right here. But then reality started kicking in, and I was like, I don't know. So I went back to the job, to say the least, and it was just like, it wasn't the same. It was like every client I went to, it was always something, and I know it wasn't me. Because I know how to check my emotions at the door, but at the same time, I stand on business. But it's like every client I was sent to that was on my caseload. When I went back to the company, it's getting crazy. And I got a good heart, but I also stand on business. Like, I'm not going to let you play in my face, respectfully, at all. Because you got to know that greater is he that is in me, that is in the world. And if my God turned over tables because y'all was playing in his face, what you think I'm going to do? But I know how to hold that down and keep that under tuck, respectfully. But it was like every client that they sent me to was just like a lot of chaos. And I cannot work in hostile environments. So the last environment I was in, it was very, very hostile. And I was just like, you know what? Yeah, God, this is it. You ain't got to say nothing else. And I had to remove myself. And let me tell you how the enemy worked. He tried to keep you on the hook. See, the job, they didn't want to fire me, but what they did was they typed up a statement and sent it to me. I do my job so good, they don't want to fire me. They say, okay, blase, 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 you can come back in 6 months. But they made it seem like I abandoned the job. No, y'all got a lot of stuff that is unresolved going on around here. And if you cannot meet my accommodation as far as the hours and meet my requests revolved around my availability, what you expect me to do? And not only that, now I got this issue where I can't find a reliable sitter for my child, and I already don't trust nobody. So it's like, okay, what you gonna do? You gonna trust God, or you gonna fold? Now, folding ain't in me. Even when I want to, I can't do that. So it's just like, okay, I'm gonna trust you, God. But when you out there, you in that wilderness, it hit different. Cause now you gotta walk by faith and not by sight. And when you walking by faith, you can't see what's coming half the time. So it's scary. Because uncertainty starts to set in, and then when uncertainty starts to set in, it go the enemy. Like, yeah, you know, last time you tried that, but when the bills start setting in, and you know, you couldn't pay for this, and you couldn't take care of that, you know, so what you gonna do? I ran back to the job the last time, but when I got there, I felt so miserable. And I was just like, oh my God, I don't know. I felt like out of place, to say the least. But I didn't understand what was going on. I know God is not the author of confusion, because I love what I do. I love helping people. That's just the heart that I got. But it was just like I felt like I was being confined, and I had to move around. There wasn't no way around that. So that's what I did. And then I left a good job with consistent pay, financial security, and I started doing Uber Eats. But that is slow. And if you know, you know. So yeah, if you know, you know, doing Uber Eats and all of that, it can be real slow, but provision is provision. And who am I to tell God how he gonna provide for me? All I know is I'm about to hustle. I used to be the plug, so I know how to get out there, put in time, and come back with what I need. But the only difference then and now is I ain't have my son with me when I used to be the plug. You know, now I'm doing Uber Eats. That's a legitimate hustle. And I got him with me, and he don't want to stay out here that long. He like, Ma, I don't want to do deliveries no more, you know. And me, I'm like, I hate to see them disappointed. So I'm like, okay, I'm trying to bribe him. Like, oh, we can go to the park. He like, nah, can we go to QT, get my slushy, get my gummy bears? And I don't want to do deliveries no more. So I'm like, cool. So I got desperate. And this happened a few days ago. You hear me? Let me tell you how God worked. I was out doing Uber Eats, doing deliveries, and I needed to come up with a quick $130, but it wasn't coming in quick enough, and I got real frustrated. And I was just like, I almost started to question God, like, you got me out here looking crazy. You got me. I done walked away from this decent job, you hear me, and I was getting paid weekly. Whoa, I was cool. But now you got me out here looking about as crazy as Noah, drunk, building this ark. They about to come tow my car. It might be an eviction notice waiting if I don't come up with the rest of this money. Like, who knows? There's just a lot going on, but you want me to trust you. And right now, if I can keep it G, like, I feel like you hiding your face from me. Where you at, Jehovah Roha? The God who sees me, where you at? And it's a cold feeling when you feel like God ain't nowhere to be found when you need him the most. But I was being disobedient. So 2 months ago, the Lord had been putting on my heart, like, go to the church. And I'm like, nah, I'm not going to no church. I'm not doing that. I mean, I was so adamant in being disobedient. Like, it came to a point to where I was up 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, pacing back and forth in the hallway, crying, talking to God. Like, why would you send me to the church? You know what I went through when I was younger. Ooh, but God don't want to hear about none of that. He's not concerned about your comfortability. He's concerned about your character. He's concerned about, okay, will you trust me though I slay you? That's what he's concerned about. And I had to come to terms with, okay, well, I done been in worse situations than this. And you kept me even though I didn't know you was keeping me. So what's up? If this where you got me at, this where I'm gonna be. But I wasn't going to that church. I don't care what none of y'all say. I wasn't going to that church. I was like, all right, I'm gonna get out here. I'm gonna do this little Uber Eats and whatever I come up with, you know, I'm gonna come up with until I get what I need and I go back. But like I said, that wasn't happening quick enough for me. It was slow. So I got desperate. So what I did was I was like, all right, I'm not going to the church. So I decided to reach out to a family member that I know. I had to be desperate because I know they gonna talk about me, and they probably talking about me now. But I ain't even tripping because it is what it is, and what it's not, I ain't even worried about it becoming. You know what I'm saying? But I got so desperate, I was like, yo, I need some help. Ooh, this is what I need. It was like, what you need? I was like, this is what I need. Ooh. And they was like, okay, well, I can help you after I pay this and this and that and that. And I was like, okay, cool. I said, not even 20 minutes later, something told me, tell them never mind. Mind you, you know how family get. If you know, you know. This message ain't for everybody. This message for about 2 or 3 of y'all. Y'all already know how family be coming when they come. That's why you gotta stand on business boundaries and wait on your blessings when it come to family. Joseph, yeah, me. But that's another video for another time. So I was just like, you know what, never mind. Not even 20 minutes later, I was like, never mind. I had to humble myself. Some sick. The first church you pass by, go in there and ask for help. I said, no, I'm not doing that. And then I'm thinking, and I'm like, man, I had to draw from that I got about five scriptures that I draw from. Don't judge me, but I got them close to my heart when I need them. And drawing from the Lord's strength and them little few scriptures that I got close to my heart, that's what gets me up and out the bed when I'm feeling depressed and anxiety trying to keep me stuck. You hear me? So I was like, look, you said if I seek, I will find, and if I knock, the door will be open. So I passed by a church called Grace Bible Church. And mind you, I live in an area, Sun City, like the majority of the population around here is like senior citizens. You hear me? So I was with my son. I turned around, parked into the church parking lot, and I just started crying. I was like, God, why would you send me here? Why would you send me here? But I have no other option. What's to run to? Shit was crazy, excuse my language, but what am I going to do? So I just stayed in the parking lot, my son all out the seatbelt, walking around in the car. I'm like, oh my God, I don't even know what to do with myself. God said, get out. The Holy Spirit said, get out, go in there. And then I had a thought, pride gonna come before the downfall. And so I finally pondered about that statement. Look, pride gonna come before the downfall. And by the time the downfall get there, you can't be up here crying, talking about Jehovah Roha, where you at, when I warned you. A warning is going to always come before destruction. You hear me? And I'm speaking from experience. I'm not coming at you from no church girl perspective, because this ain't that. I only been walking with God for about 2 years, and he's still breaking me and blessing me so he can give me to you. You hear me? So this ain't that. I'm telling you what I know. I know I need God. I done tried my way without him. I'm 34 now. I've been walking with the Lord for 2 years. Imagine the gap in between then and now. I got some cleaning up to do. You hear me? And I'm gonna be the first one. I'm gonna let you know. Like, I'm not perfect. I'm not above reproach. No, none of that. You hear me? But I do know the work that He is doing in me, on me, and through me. And we gonna let that be that until another time and another video. So I'm in the church parking lot. I walk up to the door. I got my son. You can't just open the door to the church. They got this little Ring camera out. I ring the doorbell, and I tried to open the door anyways. I was just that desperate. I was like, look, I gotta talk to somebody before I turn around and drive out this parking lot. And as soon as I was about to turn around, a gentleman came out, an older guy, and he was like, can I help you? I walk in with my son, and I just stand there, and I'm looking at these two Caucasian men staring in their face. They looking at me like, ma'am, can we help you? I'm like, oh my God, I don't even know what I'm doing here. I just start crying. I'm looking crazy. I'm bawling. I'm like, I don't even know what I'm doing here. I just need some help. And they went back, got the pastor. He took me back to the room, talked to me. I'm crying, trying to hold myself together. He started talking to me about the grace of God. He started talking to me about, you know, if I believe in the grace of God. I said, yeah. He asked me a question that almost broke me down. He said, if Yeshua came back, well, he said Jesus Christ, but I call him Yeshua. If Yeshua came back today, how sure are you that your salvation will be solidified? I looked at man dead in his soul. You hear me? Mascara running, looking crazy. I told him, I don't know if I'll make it to heaven, but I'm working on it right now. I'm not perfect, and I've not been walking with the Lord for too long. So I'm not perfect, but I know the work that God is doing in me, and I know where He has brought me from. I don't know where He's taking me, but I'm here and I'm trying. And I'm crying and trying to speak to Him and hold myself together. My son standing there staring at me in the face like, Mom, like, why are you crying? And he's 4, you know, so like I try to imagine me trying to explain to him, like, I'm damn near on the verge of a breakdown, like but I can't. He's 4. And I'm right here trying to talk to the pastor, and I'm telling him, like, look, I'm not here for no handout. I had a delivery. The crazy thing is, I was in the process of doing a delivery. I was going to go straight to the delivery, drop that off, and then go find a church to go to just to see about help. But I wasn't going to sit around to wait on a yes or no. I was just going, like, I literally wrote down my information, let them know what I needed, let them know my situation, and I was like, look, if y'all can help me, this is what I need help with. I even left my social security number. Like, look, I was just that desperate. And long story short, he was like, let me go talk to Dan. I guess Dan is the individual that they got over the finances. But it didn't take that man not even 10 minutes. He went to go talk to Dan, came back, got my information. But before he went to go give my information to Dan, he was like, can I pray with you? And I ain't never been the one to turn down no prayer at all. Even before I started walking with God, we was always linked in, but you know, we all have our own personal issues of why we choose to walk away from God or walk away from our faith. But when I tell you, I was so mentally tormented, because I remember this being triggering for me, because my mother was in this same situation. She had 5 children at the time. I had 5 children. We were with her. We were on the verge of being homeless, and she had went to a church. This was years ago. But this undealt trauma issue, her disappointment and rejection. She had went to the church, and she did the same thing that I did, but they turned my mother away. And when I tell you, this woman, she used to be her. You hear me? Her. But one day she had an encounter with God, changed her whole life, and she found this church. She used to give all our money to the church, And she went back to that same church to ask them for help, and they refused her help. And that was so. I was livid. So she didn't get these people all their money. Now she need help, and I'm pretty sure she didn't even ask them for everything she gave them. She just need a little bit of help, and they denied my mother help. And because of that, we ended up homeless, sleeping in a Bronco. Nowhere to go. And I didn't know it then, but I know it now. That was God's way of testing her, building her faith, and trying her, to say the least. And if you understand, you understand. We were just a casualty, unfortunately. But us being there and witnessing her transition, now it makes a lot of sense. Hindsight is always 20/20. And if I don't thank her for anything else, I thank her for doing everything that she could. And I don't know what God has done through her or on her, or what he's trying to do with her. But when I look back and I go over then and now, everything happened for a reason. And the same trigger that turned me away from God was the same trigger that actually solidified my relationship with him. So now I'm out here, I'm in the wilderness, but you know what? I'm like, I ain't even tripping. Provision is provision, God. I wake up, I say my prayers. Lord, look, provide me with my daily bread and let your will be done. That's it. Pour into me the strength that I need from you, and I'm going to let you handle the rest. But before I go, I'm definitely going to let y'all know that faith without works is dead. And whatever the enemy is trying to hold over your head to stop you from your breakthrough, you got to set that to the side. And if you're going to trust in God, you got to go and you got to do that thing all the way. You can't be half-stepping when it comes to I, because he's not going to play about you. And yeah, long story short, the church paid off $1,200 of the accumulated payments of the balance that I owed. I still got the car. I'm riding in it now. And look, we're going to trust God and let him handle the rest. And with that being said, I just want to encourage y'all to keep faith, because it's going to get hard out there. But nobody said it would be easy. Nobody said it would be easy. And it's going to get tough. But all things work out for the good of those who love the Lord. And y'all stay blessed and be humble.